here we are with another batch of community-made mercenary tanks. In the last one we said our goodbyes to the outside garage, and today we will be inside the hangar garage. So things will look a bit different than before. As always, if you have your own ideas for community-made mercenary tanks you want to see showcased in these episodes, leave them down in the comments below. And without further ado, let's get into this installment of Community Mercenaries. First up, we have a light tank. The ScrapTrap was designed by Newbie in the Discord and uses the chassis of the AMX 1375, the turret of the Sparpanzer 1C, and the gun of the Sturm VK 3601H. And I think it looks pretty good. I have to be honest with you guys though, that when making these tanks in the new garage, I encountered some obstacles that I did not expect. With each tank having their own zoom levels and not being able to have the same zoom, means that I couldn't use a base tank for each one and couldn't get things to line up perfectly. But hopefully you guys can't tell that from looking at this, as I still wanted the garage to be alive, so to speak. There's no people roaming around in the background or moving trucks, and the flag is pretty stationary, but there are smoke effects and beams of light that move from the ceiling that I hope can still provide the same sort of effect like the tank is really here in this garage right now. And of course we have to have that mercenary flag in the background, otherwise it's not a merc tank, right? Let me know how I did. But anyway, back to the tank. Surprisingly, the Sturm's gun is a derp gun, but with much better pen than your average derp 105 at these tiers. So putting this gun on a light tank is pretty scary, and it'll hit harder than all other lights at tier 7, making it pretty unique and interesting, and I kinda like it. Moving along, we have a medium tank. One I'm calling the Midway after its creator, who used a UDES 1516 chassis with a Lorraine 40T's turret and the gun of the 113. They created their own image, which is one reason I chose this tank to showcase, because it looked cool, doesn't it? But also, it uses the gun on a tank that I've enjoyed recently. You may know that if you watched the video in the top right about this. So the idea of putting that gun on a tank with more than 5 degrees of gun depression off the front kinda sold me on the idea. The armor profile is pretty mid, because the turret will get penned easily even when using your gun depression. But it's a medium. With the UDES's good concealment, it could be a pretty fun tank. I don't think it'd be super strong or anything, but hey, at least it looks cool. And the real question is, what tier would it be? It's 2 parts tier 10, but does it need to be a tier 10? It could be a tier 9, and if we give it the tier 9 Swedish medium chassis, then why not? But I don't think it's a bad idea as a 9. Hell, with the new Lorraine AMX M4 tier 9, we have tier 10's gun making their way down. So it's not out of the question. But I'll leave that one up to you guys. What tier is this tank? Last up, we have a heavy tank. The Iron Fort. It was created by Leafeon and uses the chassis of the Type 5 Heavy, the turret of the E100, and the gun of the... Bar? Ooh, well, this one's interesting. The E100 has 7 degrees of gun depression. Would the Bar's gun also get that 7 degrees? This one definitely had me thinking. Because at first I was like, oh no, you're giving the Bar's gun depression. But the Type 5, believe it or not, has 10 degrees of gun depression. But it's pretty tall, making it not feel like it. The E100 is the turret though, and that only gets 7. But that's with smaller caliber guns. The Bar's gun would probably have 4 or 5 degrees, maybe even 6 in the turret of the E100, but it's even taller with this combination. So it'd still be pretty hard to hit stuff on level ground. Plus, it is a rotatable turret, and arguably way better armor. So this is quite a weird tank to think about how it would perform. And also it's tier 10, right? No question about that. But does bumping up a tier 9 gun to the tier 10 tank mean we need better gun handling and reload? I'd say no in fact, because it is a rotatable turret like I said, and not a superstructure. It's less accurate and has worse gun handling. At least, I would hope. And the armor profile too. Definitely changes up the face of the Type 5, but still has the weakness of the E100. Which I would argue they're both on the same level of easiness to pen. I don't know with this one though. It's a tough nut to crack, and I don't think we need to find out in-game how this would be, as I'm a bit scared of it. And there you have it for this batch of community-made mercenary tanks. I hope you've enjoyed this one and like the look of the new garage for this series. If you have your own ideas you'd like to see made, leave them in the comments below, or in the corresponding community ideas channel in the Discord. With that, I'll see you in the next one, and take care.